Hello and welcome to Reuters Events Pharma 2026. It's a pleasure to welcome today Avinob Roy, who's Vice President and General Manager of Commercial Analytics Product Offerings at IQVIA. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, for having me.
Let's dive in with our first question, which is really about AI and what's changed in the life science environment over the last year that's made agentic AI in particular a business imperative.
Ooh, that's a good one. A lot, I have to say. If you look back right now, what's happening? Commercials is going through a major shift, right? We have so many launches planned over the next 5 to 10 years. Time is getting shorter. Your imperative to get your launch right is very critical. At the same time, AI is going through a very big transformation. It's actually coming to a point where it's making thrives, how it can actually execute on a business processes, right? So we're at an inflection point where AI is getting better, your time to value is getting shorter. If you combine these two things together, you actually have a value outcome that you can see at the end of the tunnel. The question is pharma ready to actually adopt it at scale? It's not anymore about AI to be ready. AI is ready. Is pharma ready to adopt it at scale and actually execute upon it? That's the question that everybody is asking, and we are excited to see this in action.
But so often insights don't translate into better customer conversation. So what can we do to close the gap between insight and action?
That's so true. And I think what we have seen so far is people focus on the tech very much and forget about the end user experience. We need to think AI is not another thing that we are building and stay outside the ecosystem, but think about where user works. If you're a field team member and actually interact with your CRM, that's your day-to-day journey. That's where you want the insights to be. If you're a brand manager trying to understand your brand persona and you work on your Excel, that's where your brand insight will be. So think from an end user experience standpoint where they work and try to see what they're looking for, when they're looking for, and surfacing the right insight at the right time. And that's where you see the adoption coming up. That's where most of the company fails. Adoption doesn't happen.
Fantastic. Well, where right now do AI agents create the most immediate value for commercial teams in your view?
I think there are multiple areas where we are seeing true value outcomes coming through. So the way we look into the value chain of commercial solutions, right? So you start from understand, right? As a brand manager, you're trying to understand where is my market, what's my potential, where is my patients, right? We are seeing agents that are actually summarizing, combining different data assets, whether it's scanning through external data, internal data, providing insight, all the way to activation. You have a field user who is trying to understand and interact with an HCP. HCPs doesn't have time right now. The ways of engagement has changed. Channel has duplicated, right? Now, if you are trying to create an impact, your moment is now. How do you create that impact? You need to be empowered with the right messaging at the right time to make that interaction happen. That's where we are seeing, again, agents are able to summarize, synthesize, and are able to provide insight at the right moment of the interaction.
What most often do you think prevents AI agents, analytics agents, from scaling beyond pilots into day-to-day operations?
First, this technology is phenomenal, and what it made is the barrier to entry is so small, right? Anybody, all of us has been utilizing Copilot, ChatGPT on a day-to-day basis. So what it enabled is pilots are so easy to do, right? You have a vision, you want to draw it out, you can make it happen with an agent. Right now with vibe coding, it's even shorter, right? The problem comes in when you try to operationalize it. Right. When you're going for a real world use cases, when you have hundreds of people working on a production ecosystem, zero hallucination, 100% accuracy, no divergence. These component matters, though they didn't matter in the POC because you wanted to prove out a concept.
Yeah.
So scaling that at an enterprise level and making it happen in a real world has edges. And you need to make sure you're working towards that edges, not because of a technology product, because of end user experience. And that's where I see like the biggest barriers comes in, and that's where most of the program couldn't able to make through some POCs, few pilots, and then dies off.
So, okay, let's look at solutions. What should teams be looking for in a partner to make AI agents usable, trusted, and adopted?
I think the three elements that comes to my mind, right? So the first one, I would say domain expertise, right? You are in a very specific regulatory domain. You cannot have a generalized platform, generalized provider that can just come in and tell you what tech can do. You need somebody who can translate the tech to the value where it matters, which is your domain. All right. So I will look for first a very strong domain experts who understand every aspect of your ecosystem, right? Second, I would say people who can actually operationalize this thing. As I said, building is easy, operationalizing is tough, right? So have that partner of yours thought through how you're going to put this, not just in a one or two users' hand, one or two brands, whole portfolio, all countries, scale it out. Does this have, the partner has a vision, right? And third, tech is going at a very fast pace, right? traditional way of partnering where I can provide bodies to do a service is not going to cut it out, right? So you need somebody also who is thinking from a tech ecosystem standpoint, have the tech leaning way of understanding stuff. So it's tech enabled accelerator with domain operationalization. I would say those are the key foundation that makes you a great partner.
Fantastic insights. And Avinob Roy from Arcuvia, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.